Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
That's my name, correct.
I got that right. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. You don't understand. I'm a very big Bachelor fan, Bachelorette fan. I watched it religiously every Wednesday and Thursday. I was sad if it wasn't Wednesday when I woke up. So I feel like I know you already.
Oh, thank you.
Just met.
Oh, that's nice.
So please, are you a tea drinker?
I love tea. I love every single type.
Good. I'm
Yep.
glad. Well, today we've got energy tea.
Oh,
because I
good.
know that you've been awake since about 3 o'clock this morning.
Correct.
Doing your radio show.
Perfect.
So
I
just
need a bit
chug
of an
away.
energy lift.
Yes, chug away, please do.
Great.
Now, of course, we know you and love you from The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, but we also know there's so much more to you than just that. So I just want to talk to you about your life and how you grew up
Sure.
and how we got to this moment. So take me back.
Well, where would you like me to start?
Well, let's start, maybe not like baby Sam, let's start it into like
I was
maybe-
an ugly child.
Were you? Oh, well, you turned out pretty
Oh,
good.
thanks. Ugly duckling. No, sorry. So where should I start? Where would you like me to start?
Let's start at, how about we start maybe like teens going into your 20s and
Yeah.
maybe like your dreams, hopes and dreams of what you thought your life was going to turn out like and what you were aiming to do.
Yeah, sure. Well, I never really, I was never one of those people that were like, oh, this is, it actually sounds quite bad now I'm saying it, but I never really had a big, huge life goal. I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to cruise through, like I cruised through high school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that's why now I've got 2 little brothers that are going through that process of high school and just finishing it up, and they don't know what they want to do. And I'm like, don't worry about it, you'll figure it out. So I kind of always had that attitude. I was a bit of a tomboy. I have 4 brothers, and I just loved mucking around with my brothers, and I thought I was pretty cool. I was like, oh, hanging out with the boys, how good's this? And then I realised, in hindsight, I was the annoying little sister.
Mm-hmm. So whereabouts did you actually grow up?
I grew up in Victoria. It's in the Yarra Valley, so it's about an hour and a half out of the city, so sort of country Victoria. And then I moved to the peninsula, and then I moved to the city, and now I'm in Sydney.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And so this is Millie.
You can jump.
Hi, Millie.
Is she out on the couch?
Yeah, sure.
How good's
Can't
that?
have them snuggle.
Now you want to hear my story? Well, I'll tell you a story.
I'm sure you've got some stories, Millie, too.
He
We'll
was
get
so
to you.
cute. Hanging out. How good's this?
Are you sure you're okay?
Oh, I'm so fine. I love
Okay,
dogs.
okay, good.
No, love dogs.
So I relate to you a little bit in that way, is like not really having a big dream or something that you're
Yeah.
working or striving towards. Was there something though that you had a passion for? Like, was something that you loved and you thought,
Yeah, actually, well, when I first finished school, I studied community welfare, specialising in youth protection.
Yep.
And then by the time I'd finished, I was about 2021, and then I felt like I was too young to sort of take on such a huge job, and I felt like I was too empathetic, and I am very sensitive. I put on a big front, but I'm a very sensitive person. And I just thought, oh, now's not the time to sort of go into child protection because it's a very heavy thing to do, and I was worried about my mental welfare. So then I ended up going into finance of all things, and I worked at BMW for 5 years, and now I'm working in radio.
yeah.
Which is weird.
I know. So you grew up with your family. You know, you've got 4 brothers and a sister.
Yep.
That is some serious family.
Yeah,
all
it
in
is.
one
It's like a
house.
madhouse when we were growing up. Yeah.
I can only imagine. I have 2 brothers, so I'm not even at your level. And I have 2 sons, so I'm like done.
Yeah.
Done. So tell me a little bit about your mum. I know you've spoken a bit about some of her trials that she's been through as
Yep.
a woman, as a mother, as a wife, all the rest of it. Can you tell me a little bit about her story?
Yeah, so my mum, she had eating disorders since I can ever remember. She battled anorexia, and she was bulimic, and and it's something that we always grew up with. And then she had really bad depression, and mental illness is something that now I'm so passionate about. I think that it's not spoken about as much as it should be, and there's obviously that stigma related to that. And so, yeah, my mum has been through so many battles, and she just keeps powering on through, and she's just such an inspiration because for her there's just no challenge she can't get through. And then obviously she was separated from my dad, who I adore. They split up when I was 3, and I was raised by my stepdad, and then I lost my stepdad, and and there's many things that our family's been through, and that's why I just think my mum's such an inspiration. And now, as someone who has a platform to have a voice, I talk a lot about body image issues and mental health, because I feel like, especially in this day and age, like there's so much pressure for young girls, and I've grown up with it,
I think it's important, like you said, someone with a platform to have something important to say.
Yeah.
And it is a very poignant thing right now, especially with so much social media going on.
Yeah.
And girls are trying to be something that they're naturally not, or
Yeah.
they're not embracing themselves for who they are. I think somebody like you, who is just genuinely yourself at all times, and it's such an example. It really is for the girls just to be who they are.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's nice.
And so what about when you're younger?
Yeah.
Dealing with those things that your mum's going through. That's pretty hard to watch your mum go through an illness like that.
It is, and I think one of the saddest things is, now that I'm an adult, you realise, I thought that was normal, and I thought that it was, I just thought that was a part of life. And then it wasn't until, I sort of grew up and, looked at my life from another perspective, and I'm like, oh, hang on a second, that's not normal. And, there are deeper issues here that we never really spoke about as a family or anything like that. And so that's why we try and talk about it a lot now. And it's weird thinking that that's your normal life, and because you don't know any different.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. Until you kind of meet other people and go into other families and think, people live so differently.
Exactly.
What would be your best advice to people that have to deal with that sort of thing, or are close to people that are going through such a tribulation like that?
I think it's important for them to know that they're not alone. And I think going through things like that, it's so isolating, and you feel like no one else in the world understands what you're going through, and you don't have anyone to talk to. But that's why it's so important to sort of have the conversation out in the open. And I think the public and society need to talk about it more, so people feel more comfortable approaching the topic and feeling like they're going to get through it and everything's going to be okay. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being okay to say you're not okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's so important. And and I know that it's struggling, and and I've struggled with saying, hang on a second, I'm not okay. But I think the conversation needs to be open.
And thank you for being the voice of that, because I think it's such an important, and it's such a subject that needs to be addressed, and people are going through so many things that you don't know.
Yeah,
so thank
absolutely.
you for being that person that gives it a voice.
Yeah.
We'll support you all the way in that.
It's the least I can do.
So you're working in finance at BMW. And then The Bachelor comes along. How did that whole thing pan out?
Well, at the time, I was so career focused, because I sort of felt like I found my niche in finance, and I was doing quite well. And, I was working 6 days a week, long hours, and I had a boyfriend at the time. We were dating for about 1.5 years, and I was like, and you think at the time, you're like, oh, this is going to be it. Yeah. And then he broke up with me, and then I was like, okay, career. And then I was just like, I'm bored and I need something more in my life, and I have always been a bit spontaneous. I go on random holidays, I do random things. I'm sort of like that friend that you call up when you're like, who would do this weird thing with me? Hey Sam, how are ya? So I was always that friend. And then, and obviously I was single, and I saw the Bachelor application thing on the TV. And sort of, as a joke with my best friend, she's like, you should go on The Bachelor. And she's like, you would be so great. They're going to choose the most amazing guy. They're, searching a whole country for this Bachelor. And imagine if you got on. And I was like, you know what? Why not? What an adventure. So I signed up and then I got on and I could not even believe it. And it was purely because I just wanted some excitement in my life. I wanted to, a bit of shake up my boring finance life, and I was single, so why not?
Great.
Yeah.
And so when you got that phone call, were you like, oh no, do I actually really want to do this?
Yeah, I was a bit, because I just kind of, I don't like saying it, but I'm the first person to kind of judge girls that go on shows like that. I've watched the US one and I'm like, what kind of person would do that? Surely you're not that desperate. And so, I had to, swallow my pride a little bit and go, hang on a second, I'm sure that everyone's going to be lovely. And if I want to do it, then surely people are just going to be normal like me.
So you get into the show and you can't believe it and you're doing it and you're just committing yourself and you're in there.
Yeah.
And you get in there and just with a whole bunch of girls dating one guy, which seems like mind-blowingly unnatural.
I know.
But brilliant television
Yeah.
for us watching. But I can't imagine being the human that has to go through that.
Yeah, it's a bizarre concept and I didn't know what to expect going into it, and I kind of liked that I didn't have expectations because I sort of just went in there and did my own thing, and it is bizarre because you have friendships and you hang out with these girls and they're great girls, and I kind of thought that they would be quite ditzy, to be honest. I thought that they would have no brain or personality, but they were exceeded my expectations. They were brains, beauty, they were intelligent.
And you genuinely got along.
Yeah, I genuinely got along well with them. And, and I never, I never felt threatened. And I think I learned a lot about myself during that period because it was 4 months of filming. I'm not sure if people knew how long it was. So it's 4 months of your life and you're cut off from everything and you really analyse yourself and you really dig deep into your soul and figure out what you're about, and you learn about what you want. And it's, because in the house, I wasn't sure what to expect. And then I realised that I have so much respect for myself, I think, even though it's a bizarre situation and probably not one that you would go, oh, this is where I'm going to find self-respect, but because I just, I like who I am. I think it's important to love yourself before you can receive it. And I learned a lot. Yeah.
That's great. And you just couldn't have predicted or written about it, what was about to happen in that series of The Bachelor. So you win the show.
Yeah.
Blake proposes to you.
Yeah.
Everyone's elated, so happy, including myself.
Yeah.
The dress, everything, South Africa.
I know, South Africa was amazing.
Beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And then we as the public find out in the next couple of days that you guys are no longer together. Yeah. But it would be a much different perspective from where you were because you knew that
absolutely.
whole time.
It was, I couldn't believe it. It was such a fairy tale. I just could not believe it was happening, and and I kind of felt like at the time I was just like, oh, well, I haven't had much luck, and I've been a good person in my life, and and I feel like this is the good coming back to what I've put out there.
And you genuinely fell in love.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was very real, and I think people forget that it is so real. And then there was a 6-week delay between filming and airing, so we'd broken up the week before, and then you get the flood of text messages on finale night, congratulations, and then the next day it was announced that we'd broken up. And I think it was just that awkward, horrible time of being like, I don't want people to recognize me. And because it was so public and it was everywhere, you just go, oh, I just want to hide for a little while.
Yeah, because breaking up, not in the public eye, is bad enough.
Oh, it's
Breaking
awful.
up it's the most heart-wrenching thing you could possibly go through, because it's heartbreak. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely heartbreaking, and to be going through that with all eyes on you, I can't even imagine how that
it was a
would have
doozy.
felt.
And, and there are so many things that actually happen that I just keep to myself or to my loved ones that, it was a lot heavier than, but anyway, we won't go into that.
Well, another time. No, but definitely, like, heartbreak. I feel your sister. That's hard, and we were all, feeling it for you, and the shock of it, for us, let alone for you, like ridiculous.
I would never have imagined. I could never in a million years imagine it panning out the way that it did. When I first arrived, when I first made the decision that I was going to go on The Bachelor, for everything to happen afterwards, I could never have imagined or predicted anything even close. Yeah.
No, neither could we. And are you in touch at all, or is it just the end?
No.
The end.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you're all sad. It's a terrible situation. You think you'll never get over it. You think this is your life, and you're forever going to be the girl that got a heartbreak.
Yeah, the heartbreak kid. Yeah.
And then Channelton obviously was like, you are perfect
Yeah.
to be the Bachelorette. And you bucked it. You didn't want to do it, right?
No, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to, I just couldn't be, couldn't be bothered putting myself out there again. I was like, what if I don't find someone? What if the guys are a bunch of jerks? What happens if I get dumped again? And there were all these emotions and thoughts and pros and cons. I was weighing up everything, and I'm like, nah. And for months I was saying no. And then I was actually dating someone at the time, and then it didn't work out, and he decided that he didn't want to be with me, and I was like, really? And I was like, bugger. And then they approached me again just after that, and I was just like, what have I got to lose? Like I'm not finding anyone. It's not working for me in the real world. And, and they promised me they had amazing, genuine, fun guys that suit my personality, and so I thought, well, why not?
Good on you. That's very brave, because it's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
TV is a whole other machine. Like what we see in the hour episode or hour and a half, whatever it is, is months of planning and behind the scenes, and every minor detail is thought of in TV.
And all the dates, they go for 12 hours and they get edited down to 7 minutes.
Yep.
And
it's that one thing you say in a crazy 12-hour tired moment, that's the thing they grab and they take it and put it on there.
And people are like, editing, and you're like, of course it's edited. We don't have time to show the 12-hour date. You're joking? Of course.
Yes.
But yeah.
Did you enjoy all of the dates, or were there some where you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this?
I loved every single one.
Did you?
Yep, I had so much fun. I love the crew, I love the cameramen, I love the audio guys, I love the producers, I love every single person that makes the show, and we just had so much fun. I was laughing and laughing and laughing, and sometimes I was so tired, but I was just like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Do you know what I'm doing today? I'm skydiving. This is amazing. And I've got a whole team that support me, and amazing guys.
Such a great attitude. I love that. You're like the dream person to have as the talent. The crew would have been like, whew.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, we had a lot of fun.
You're genuinely so easygoing. Even here today, you're like, oh, I'm like sweltering hot, and you're like, it's fine.
Easy breezy. Yeah.
So great. So obviously Sasha is the winner of the show. He's the one that won your heart. But I remember watching the show when you first saw him. You didn't even say hello. You didn't even meet him. Yeah. You just saw him, and you just you were just giddy. You were giddy from the second you saw him.
I was a mess. I was so embarrassed. And I remember I was thinking back on everything that I said to him when I just first met him, and I was like, oh, how embarrassing. And I was cool with everyone else. I'm like, oh, he's a joke. I'm confident, la, la, la. And then when it came to him, I was just a mess. And I was like, I felt like a 14-year-old girl. And I was just like, oh, wow, meeting someone for the first time. And Yeah, I couldn't believe it. How embarrassing.
It must be hard though to kind of feel that way, and then you're obviously on the show for that reason to meet a person that you fall in love with, but you've got 14 guys there,
Yeah, exactly.
and you have to give everyone a go, and you have to obviously commit to the show and see it through, and you just never know what happens in the end. You don't, like, even though someone makes you giddy, you're not really sure, so you have to get to know them.
And I think that was the thing with Sash, because obviously we had such a strong chemistry as soon as we met each other, and, you know, it was amazing, and it was better than I'd ever imagined the arrival nights going, because I, you know, had chemistry with quite a lot of the guys, but especially with Sash, but I never wanted to just be, all right, it's Sash, because then I might miss things if I have a closed mind. And so I just kept an open mind the whole time and was just like, you know, I've got to give everyone a chance and value everyone's time, because they've put themselves out there, they've been courageous, and they deserve all the time in the world to shine.
Yeah. How hard is it when you've got someone, you're, you know, the no-bros, or some of them you didn't even get to that point because you just couldn't face the rose ceremony, you just had to let them go in a gracious way. How hard is that? Because it's awful. It's so hard to say those things.
It is honestly it was so hard, and I got emotional every single time. Like, I really did. And even if I knew that they weren't the right one for me. Like, I never doubted my decision, but it's emotional because these guys are intelligent and they're funny and they're being so courageous, putting themselves out there, and to sort of say, oh, you're not the one for me. I think it's never nice to let someone down. Like, it's a horrible thing to do. And I never wanted them to doubt their self-worth. I never wanted them to go away feeling like they weren't good enough. You know, because I like to, you know, I like to, you know, make people feel good about themselves, because they should. And so it was sort of hard to, let them down. And I always wanted them to leave knowing that I respected them the whole time.
Have you kept in touch with any of the other guys?
Yeah, actually I have. Dave and Davey, which are the cheekiest ones out of all of them, because they're so close with Sash. So I'm friends with them through him. Richie and I follow each other on Instagram and Twitter, which is good.
He's sweet.
He's divine. He's honestly such a beautiful soul. I'm rooting for him to be the next Bachelor.
Yes.
But no one tells me anything because they know I talk too much. But yeah, he's amazing, and he deserves to shine. And who else? That's about it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there were some good guys in there.
Yeah, great guys.
Okay, so I dated one guy in my whole life, and then I married him.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it went for me. So
hit the jackpot.
Well, having 14 at once.
I know.
I would be the worst on a date. I don't even know. I don't even know how to date.
Oh, I don't even know how to date. Have you
Bachelor.
seen me? I'm like this. I don't know what to do. These cheese platter, some wine. There you go.
Do you actually come up with those concepts for the dates?
Oh, I actually do. Like, I work with the date producing team. So there's a team of us, and, you know, they source out ideas. They know what's possible, what's not.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you want to do? And I give them a whole list. But when it comes to, you know, the actual planning, like calling out people and organising it all, the team does it. But everything's approved by me. And, but I don't obviously put together the cheese platters. I think that's a no-brainer. Even though I pretend I do.
Okay, here's the other thing we can bond on. The cooking situation.
Oh, are you a good cook?
No.
Oh.
I'm a really bad cook.
Welcome to the club.
Because you had to cook, was it Michael, I think
Yeah,
it
I
was?
cooked a toasty.
You cooked him a
And
toasty.
burnt it.
I was so happy and relieved when you did that. I was like, oh, thank God there's someone else out there that can't do it.
Well, do you know the funny thing about it is the only reason why I knew it was burning is because Phil, one of the great cameramen who I adore, he had zoomed up on the thing with the steam coming out. And I was like, so I turned around because I'm like, that's weird. Why is he like in the back of shot? And then I realised, I was like, oh my God, it's burning.
And they're not even telling you.
They're not
just gonna
telling
make a joke
me.
of
No,
it.
and it could have gone a lot worse had the camera not zoomed in on it. But anyway, thanks,
great.
Phil.
No, have you improved any? Is Sasha like...
Sasha's not a good cook, but
good.
you know what? I could serve like a raw potato on a plate and he'll be like, he loves me so much that he would say anything I do is good when it's not at all. And I'm like, you do not have to say that's good. And I make horrible dinners and he's like, babe, this is really good. He's so...
That is so
Bless.
nice.
I know, he's so nice.
Oh, so what is life like post Bachelorette for you guys? Is it?
It's so good. We just feel like a normal couple, like until you go out and people recognize you. But
And then
when
you see yourself on literally every time I go to the supermarket, I'm like, oh, there's Sam. Like every magazine.
I
has
know.
your face on it.
Everyone must get so sick of my face.
It's a beautiful face.
But like we're very normal. We just, honestly, he's my number one fan. He's so supportive. He is my best friend, and I love that I can, we still fight like we're a normal couple, and we have our little Barneys, and then we get over it, and and he's just so supportive, like you wouldn't even believe.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And how amazing that you found the one.
I know.
You found him.
I found him. I can't believe it. Like I pinch myself every day. Like I found him. I found the love of my life.
Yeah.
And I really believe it's it's him. That's who I'm supposed to find.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Channel 10 must be chuffed with themselves.
Oh, look, they're patting themselves on the back. They've got Bachelorette commissioned for another season, so they're doing well.
Good. I'm glad. I will be definitely watching that for sure. So, Sam, you've really, really hit the jackpot now. You've come off the show and now you're doing breakfast radio with Rove McManus.
I know. I can't believe it.
On Today FM. It's like a dream. It's a dream job.
I know. I wake up and sometimes the mornings it's really hard to get up. Like I'm very tired today. But
what time did you wake up today?
I woke up at 3:40 this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I wake up and then I'm like, what am I doing today? I'm sitting with Rove McManus, laughing, talking, and working with a great team. Like, it's unbelievable. It's unheard of. I'm getting paid to hang out with a legend.
Yeah.
And he's a great mentor, and he, again, is so supportive. He is a great friend, and, what do I say?
Loving it.
I can't believe it.
Now you kind of look back, did you always sort of have an inkling that maybe this could be your destiny? That maybe you could be doing things in the media?
Never.
Just never was in the radar.
Like you never think that. I mean, like, growing up, like I'd listen to Husey and Kate and I love them, and I'm like, oh, how cool would that be? What a great job. You say it, but then that's actually what I'm doing now. And I just, and then we have moments so many times where, and we had Beautiful Guy in, and, we're interviewing these huge, talented, inspiring people. And I'm like, this is my job? Are you kidding? So, and I just feel so blessed and honoured, and and I'm just lucky that, I've got so many great people that support me, because or else it's not possible.
Well, I just really like you.
I'm a loser. I just have to go and talk.
No, you're awesome. And that's why you're going to be successful and go to great things, because of that humble attitude, and you're nice to everyone, and I've never once heard a bad thing said about you by anybody ever in life. So
that's nice.
Good on you.
Oh, thank you.
And congratulations on everything. And
thank you so much.
I wish you all the best for even more success.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Cheers to you.
Yes, cheers.
And Sash, I want to meet him next.
Oh, you will love him.
I already love him.
Yeah.